आप लाइव
Should I start? Good evening, namaskar, and pranam to everyone. Welcome to the series 2 episode 11 of Yoga Research Studies Circle under the umbrella of Women's Health Research Foundation, WHRF. Yoga Research Studies Circle is created to encourage professionals to conduct research work in the field of yoga and health. All are welcome to enroll for research work and avail an opportunity to get the research work published and recognized. WHRF also conducts regular training courses and workshops at our yoga studio in Sector 52, Noida, and various centers in NCR. Details of the same are available on WHRF Facebook page and WHRF site. On every Sunday, we invite experts from various fields to give presentations on topics related to health and wellness. Our today's guest is Miss Pallavi Chaturvedi. In present times, everyone is trying to maximize and manage finances. Pallavi is going to share her expertise on where to save and where to invest in easy step-by-step ways. Pallavi is presently the CEO with Bluestone Wealth Matters Private Limited, a leading wealth management company. She is a certified financial planner, CFP. It is the most prestigious internationally accepted qualification in the field of financial planning. The American College has recognized her as Life Underwriter Training Council Fellow, LUTCF. Pallavi has also helped more than 15,000 families in securing and planning their financial goals. She has also extended her help to almost 148 families at the loss of the chief bread earner of the family. So I will now like to invite Pallavi to enlighten us with all her knowledge on managing our finances. Over to you, Pallavi.
Thank you so much, Sunitji. Thank you for such a lovely introduction. To begin with, I'd like to thank WHRF for giving me this opportunity to be able to present my thoughts at a forum like this. I'm really honored. So let's not, without much ado, let's start with the topic of today, which is financial well-being and managing financial stress. So I will just go out and I hope you can see my screen. Can you see my presentation? Yes. Okay, so today's talk is about managing financial stress. And, since it's going to be a quick talk of about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, what I'll do is I will quickly give you 5 tips. And these are very easy and simple tips that you can follow and actually manage your financial stress. The first and foremost thing is that you must cover all your risks. So koi bhi risk ho, it could be anything, falling sick. These are the various lists. There's a list of, falling sick, getting a critical illness, dying too soon, living too long, car accident, disability, theft, fire, natural disaster, all of these. So you should be covered for emergency, and please understand that there is insurance available for all of this. Yeah. And in the first thing that you do is that you cover your risk before. जैसे हम एक foundation बनाते हैं, नींव रखते हैं, वैसे ही हम, we go out and do insurance, cover our risks before we start to kind of build a financial portfolio or think about our financial life. That's the first step. Now, loss of job is one other risk that a lot of people have experienced during the COVID time. And that brings me to my next point, which is emergency fund. So one must maintain an emergency fund of about 6 times your monthly income. or about 8 times your expenses. So आप देख लीजिए, whatever, you can calculate your family expenses. Keep it about 8 times your family expenses. Keep it about 6 times your income. So that is the kind of emergency fund. And please, buying an extra AC for the room because it is too hot is not an emergency. This emergency fund must not be touched unless there is a serious emergency. And with this fund, we are trying to cover loss of job here. So this fund should not be touched unless there is a medical emergency. Ordinarily, for medical emergency, you must have a health insurance in place. Yeah. So the first two things where you start your financial plan is have these two things in place. The next is you must start now. No matter how small you start, you must start now. And why I say it is, here's an example that I'm showing you. There is a cost to, of delaying. Now, when we used to study the, even before that, let's see what happens. So there's Arjun and there is Radhika. Both of them start saving 2,000 rupees a month. Arjun starts at the age of 25, Radhika starts at the age of 35. Both of them stay safe till the age of, save till 50 years and save till 60 years. So both of them saved for 25 years. One saved till the age of 50 and the other had to save till the age of 60 years, right? Both of them have saved for 25 years and both of them have put in 6 lakh rupees from their pocket. Yeah. Now let's see what happens. At the age 60, when Radhika retires, she gets about 34 lakhs. But at the age 60, when Arjun retires, he gets 1 crore. Yeah. And this is at a 12% interest rate. If the money grows at 12%, then this is what he makes. If this money grows at 14%, just 2% extra, look at the difference in, Arjun makes about 1.73 crores. Radhika makes about 47 crores. Now, what is the real difference in this? It is just the 10 years that Arjun has given his money to grow, which Radhika could not because she started late. Yeah. So when we do the formula of interest, if you remember, जो हमको school में पढ़ा था, interest, compound interest calculate करने का formula, that used to have 3 or 4 very important factors. One was, what was the money that you were investing? What was the rate that you were investing it at? Now, rate हम सबको याद रहता है, amount of money हम सबको याद रहता है. What we forget is the time. It also had a factor called time, the time period that you leave your money to grow for. And that is really the most important factor here, and not the amount of money that you're saving or the interest rate at which you're saving. So you have to make sure that you start as soon as you can. Yeah, this is really the third rule. The fourth rule is that you must make sure that you are not growing your money. You're actually growing your money. And how will you be growing your money? You will grow your money if you put it in places where it can grow at a rate faster than inflation. Now, there's a word called inflation that I have used. I'm sure a lot of you understand inflation, but I will still talk about it. But let's see what is the difference. So one is a bank FD. A bank FD is giving you about 5.5, 6% interest. Gold is giving you about 7-8% interest. Mutual funds typically will give you about 10-12%. Yeah. Now you can see that if the money is left in any of these 3 assets, so the blue one depicts bank FD or RD, your yellow depicts the gold, and green depicts mutual funds. Yeah, here I'm introducing the product to you. Now, if you will see these bars, in 5 years' time, you don't see much difference. Yeah. In 10 years' time, you begin to see some difference. In 15 years' time, you can see there is an almost difference of double between gold and mutual funds. And when you go to 25 years, you can imagine the kind of difference that this will make. So it is really the time period that matters, and also where you're investing your money. Now, I spoke about inflation. Now, what is inflation? Inflation is really, so let's, my dadi used to say that she could run her house in 100 rupees. Yeah. Her household expense was 100 rupees. My mother used to get her household ration in about 1,000 rupees. I need about 10,000 rupees to get ration for the same family, the same size of 3 or 4. I need about 10,000. So you can see that it is jumping a zero every year. It is multiplying by 10. Every generation it multiplies. Now you can see here, if you would, I'd like to show you, bring your attention to, in 2000, a loaf of bread used to cost you about 10 rupees. Milk was about 20 rupees. Petrol was about 25 rupees. Yeah. In 2020, these were the rates. In 2025, we can expect, actually, we've already reached the 25 rates because inflation is at about 7.5% today. My assumption now, these are very realistic figures if you see. But you know what? These are not figures taken from Google. Only the first figure of 2020 was, of 2000 was taken from Google. And the rest of it has been inflated at 6%. And you can see where it has come. It is so realistic, it is not even funny. So, and inflation today is actually at 7.5%. Therefore, we are experiencing a petrol price of about 105 in 22 itself instead of 25, because inflation is at a higher rate than 6%. Yeah. Now, please understand, our parents' generation, it could work saving in an FD. Why? Because their FD interest rate was about 12%. Yeah. So even if they put their money in FD and the inflation was at 6%, they were making a differential of about 6%. So they were growing their money by 6% every year, putting it in the bank account, putting it in the FD also, they were growing their money. Unfortunately, it's not the case for us. Your bank FD today is giving you 5.5%. Your inflation today is at about 7.5%. So you're actually, if you're leaving your money in the bank account, you're actually degrowing your money. I hope I'm kind of making sense over here. I hope you can kind of get what I'm trying to say. So now that brings me to my next point. How do we kind of beat this? How do we understand ki phir hum kya kare? Where do we save? How do we save? What do we do? So here, you need to have a financial plan in place. That is the fifth rule that you must have. Have a plan in place. When the army goes to war, they have a plan. And likewise, you must have a plan. So you know what is happening. And specifically now, because the markets are very unpredictable, very volatile, it is very important that you have a plan in place so that you know where you're headed and what you're planning to do. Now, what is a plan? This is what a financial plan typically looks like. You can see my designation is certified financial planner. So this is what I do for a living. You will have all the details over here. What are the kind of risks? Now, this person, since he is the sole breadwinner of the family, I recommended that he has a high amount of term insurance on himself. So because if he dies, the family has nothing to fall back on, right? Health insurance is mandatory. Emergency fund is mandatory. Now, this person actually lives very close to his office. Had he told me that I live in Gurgaon and travel to Noida every day, or I live in Noida and travel to Gurgaon every day, one other insurance you would have seen was personal accident insurance. Yeah. So there, you must cover the risks. So here I'm covering the risks, you can see. Next is you write down your monthly profit and loss. What are the monthly expenses? What is the household income? What are the savings that you are doing? What are the investments that you are doing? And then what is the surplus of savings that is left? What are the various financial goals that you have? Like I said, first is emergency fund, which is about 6 times your monthly income and 8 times your monthly expenses. Yeah. So you put down that. And then the other things like Sheetal's high graduation, her marriage, Arav's graduation, marriage, Then there is they want to take a domestic vacation every year. They want to plan their retirement. They want to plan a car after 6 years. So, all of your financial goals will go in. The next thing you will do is you will see what is it that you have. Your existing investment details will go into your plan. You will put down all that you have. And your investments must be aligned to your goals. Like you can see Sheetal's graduation, ABC equity fund. This is the amount of SIP that the person is doing. He started on this day, amount invested with this, current value is this, and what is the target amount. And that is when you know where are you really progressing in your goals or are you not progressing in your goals. Yeah. So this is what a financial plan will look like. And this is another thing that is a very integral part of your financial plan. And the next thing is going to be recommendations, which your planner should give you, where they tell you, okay, fine, this is what it is. This is the current value. This is what you have. What we are telling you to do is this. And this is the shortfall. So this is the amount that you need to save. These are the funds, the investment recommendations आएंगी, कितना आपको SIP करना चाहिए, कौन से fund में, which fund, what is the expected return, and then on every review, whatever changes you are making should go in there. This is typically what a financial plan will look like. Yeah, where do you begin? This is where you begin. You begin with your covering your risks. Next, you go on to your financial goals. You cover your financial goals. And the next you go on to is creating a legacy. Yeah, that is if I die and I want to leave something behind for my children, that is the next thing you cover. So you always start with covering your risk. The downside must get covered first. Yeah, this is what I have been doing. My mission is to serve the nation. These are the various, these are pictures of the various sessions that I have done. Some of them are with NGOs, some of them are with paramilitary forces, some are army, air force. We've covered it all. We've done sessions with business owners, and this is what we've been doing. We're on a mission. Now, I will open the floor for questions. If you have any questions, please throw them at me, and I'd be happy to kind of answer. If there is anything that you didn't understand, please, you can put in the chat box and Sunit ji or somebody can kind of tell me. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, good evening, Pallavi ji. Actually, मेरे पास दो questions आए हैं viewers की तरफ से. One is how to decide what percentage of income we should save.
Okay, so that's a very good question. One is, so there are two ways to looking at it, Milan. One is that, we can take a thumb rule. And typically I say a thumb rule would be more like, you have about 20 to 25% that you save of your income. 20 to 25% you must save, and another about 5% should go towards covering risk. Yeah, that is what I recommend. The other thing is actually once you have a plan in place, it kind of gives you a better assessment of what is it that you need to save. And then you prioritize your goals over there. And that will again help you in kind of, understanding that what is the minimum or maximum that you can save or you must save. But I'd say 25% definitely, 20 to 25% must definitely go into savings from day one. I hope that answers the question. You're on mute, Milan.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Pallavi ji, I think जिन viewer ने ये question पूछा है, definitely उनको reply मिला होगा क्योंकि your answer is so good ना. You explained with the examples and the chart is the eye opening. क्योंकि this session is the eye opening for everyone, है ना? Whether is the housewife, whether it's a working woman, is a very nice session. Second question, what do we do if we want to send our kids abroad for a higher education? Spend from our pocket, yeah, should go for a loan?
So that will depend on the kind of country you're sending your child to. What you must do is that, say your child wants to go to Canada or USA, then if you look at their economy, their interest rates are lower than India. Yeah, that means so आपका जो भी interest rate होएगा ना, आपको loan उसी के आसपास की उस पे मिलेगा, right? So which means if the interest rates are around 6% in India, then then the loan that you will get will be about 7-8% in India. Yeah. If you look at the US interest rate scenario, it is about 1 or 2%. So you will actually get the loan cheaper over there. Yeah. So if your child is going to a country like US or or Canada, then it makes sense to actually take a loan. Even if you have the money, take a loan, because you are getting it cheaper. You are renting the money cheaper. Let me put it like that. Okay. Because if I have that 1 lakh rupee or say 10 lakh rupees, if I take a loan on 10 lakh rupees at say 2 or 3 or 4% also, and I put my 10 lakh rupees in an FD over here, which is giving me 5.5%, I'm still making 1.5% on my money. So it is making more sense. So it will depend on which country your child is going to. If your child is going to a country where the interest rates are higher than India, then you may consider if you want to take a loan over here, or then then your financial plan will tell if you want to take a loan over here, or you want to kind of put your money from your pocket. But one thing I want to say, and I have seen a lot of people make this mistake. I work with senior bureaucrats. I have worked with businessmen and some highly ranked officials in the private corporates, and I have seen them make this mistake that they want to put the money they have, their retirement funds, into educating their children. That's a huge mistake. Please understand that you can get a loan or you can fund your child's education, but nobody is going to come and fund your retirement. So if you remember the risks I spoke about, one of the risks was dying too soon or living too long. One of the risks was living too long, and that is really a risk. Imagine if you decide, if you plan, I'm going to die at 70. So let's plan according to 70, and you live till 80. Where will you fund those 10 years from? So you should never make this mistake of putting your retirement corpus, putting all your, savings into your child's education. It is better to take a loan and get your child to pay.
Okay, that's very nice. After your session, I should say thank you by heart. And it's too good session, and it's too eye-opening session. And it's a time for alarming, and we should make these kind of a plan for our kids' education, retirements, car loan, home loan, kids' marriage. We should make these kind of a systematic planning now. Thank you so much, Pallavi ji. Thank you so much by heart, and you give us so much. आपने इतना अच्छी हमें टिप्स दी हैं, और आई एम श्योर कि बहुत सारी चीजें अभी हम लोगों को क्लियर नहीं होगी, जैसे SIP, जैसे अभी आपने इंटरेस्ट रेट बताया FD का, क्योंकि एवरीबडी इज सो कि हमारा पैसा है उसको FD में डाल देते हैं, बट नाउडेज वी आर गेटिंग वेरी लो परसेंटेज. तो आपने जो SIPs बताए हैं, जो हमें इन्फ्लेमेशन का बताया है, दैट्स अ वेरी वेरी नाइस, एंड होप कि जितने भी व्यूअर्स हैं उनको ये सब क्लैरिटी होगा, और ये भी क्लैरिटी आएगा कि फाइनेंशियली प्लानिंग करने से हम अपना फ्यूचर को कितना सिस्टमैटिक तरीके से एंजॉय कर सकते हैं.
जी बिल्कुल. And one thing I'd like to add is that I think I missed out on that point is that जब आप अपना फाइनेंशियल प्लान बनाएं या जब आप अपना पोर्टफोलियो बनाएं, सेविंग करें, तो कोशिश करें कि आप उसमें हर जगह सेव करें आपके पास. सो म्यूचुअल फंड्स केवल एक जरिया है, to take exposure to two kind of asset classes, equity और debt. ठीक है, debt मतलब होता है उधारी. जितना भी उधारी का बाजार होता है, जो भी लोन का बाजार होता है, उसको हम डेट कहते हैं. या एंड इक्विटी मींस शेयर्स. या सो जितना भी इक्विटी का शेयर्स का शेयर मार्केट का बाजार होता है, जहां पे ओनरशिप होती है. सो आई एम बाइंग. सो देयर आर टू वेज ऑफ पुटिंग दिस. वन, कि जब बिजनेस को पैसा चाहिए होता है, तो या तो वो किसी से लोन ले सकता है, या वो उसका अपना भाग बेच सकता है, जिसमें उसको एक इक्विटी मिल जाता, उसको पैसा मिल जाता है. तो जब वो अपना भाग बेचता है, then you participate, then the person who has given money is going to participate in the profits and losses of that business. Okay. Yeah. When the business takes debt, the person who has given money does not care about how the business is doing. He wants the interest back. Yeah. Now, obviously, since you're going to get your interest back, debt is a safer investment. Yeah. Mutual funds, investing through mutual funds, taking exposure to equity or debt through mutual funds, I advocate, because you have qualified fund managers who are taking care of your money and you don't have to worry. Yeah. So equity और debt दोनों के mutual funds होते हैं अलग अलग, इनकी risk अलग अलग होती है. So please, you know, a lot of, there's a myth that people say, oh, mutual funds are risky. Now it is like, it is like saying cycling is risky. You know, cycling in the park is not risky at all. Cycling on the mountains could be risky. Going on a trail could be risky, but cycling within a park is not risky at all, right? So, there are different categories of funds which have different risk profiles. And if you have a good planner, they will be able to tell you. But apart from equity, debt, you must have some gold in your portfolio. You must have some metals in your portfolio. Gold is a metal, right? So you should try, and you must have some real estate in your portfolio. You must try and take exposure to every kind of asset class. So that is one other thing that I'd like to kind of say. Since I had the time, I thought I must talk about it too. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, and hope everybody should going to follow these kind of a financial planner. And thank you so much. आपने इतना सब कुछ एग्जाम्पल के थ्रू, इन्फ्लेमेशन भी आपने सब इतना अच्छे से समझाया कि आपकी दादी का, आपकी मदर का, हमारा, and is the same. We are also facing these kind of a thing. और हाउसवाइफ है, वर्किंग है, सब लोग अब इसी से चलेंगे, and then we can survive and we can enjoy the future. If we are saving at present now, so we can like future को हम और अच्छा और स्वस्थ बना सकते हैं. A wealth management करना is a compulsory for everyone. I think so. क्योंकि that thing is going to be expensive and survive करना है तो definitely फिर systematic तरीके से. Thank you Pallavi ji. Thank you so much.